Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. It is Hospice and Palliative Care Month for many among the provider community of the Lake Sunapee region, VNA and Hospice, and they will focus on community outreach. Still others will take this time on this month to celebrate colleagues and recognize their volunteers. To that end, this week we're back here at the Renaissance Shoppe and we'll meet with Rebecca Lacasse, a hospice and palliative care nurse practitioner, and hear of her work. We'll then meet Nancy Tripp from the Summer Music Associates, telling us about their work to encourage people toward an interest in music. Susie Lowe-Stockwell will give us a preview of the production of 43rd Street at the Newport Opera House. Yes, that's not 42nd Street. Join us to find out what that's all about. And we'll close with Heather Turner, a SCORE mentor working with small businesses to make them stronger. But first, a few words from the underwriters that your Yankee Chronicle makes possible. Please don't socially distance yourself from these businesses because they are an important part of our community's economic health.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle, coming to you from the VNA inside the Renaissance Shoppe here on Newport Road in New London. We love coming by here every year, usually around this time too. November is Hospice and Palliative Care Month, and the VNA is honoring that with their amazing hospice team. And I'm now joined by Rebecca Lacasse, who's the Hospice and Palliative Care Nurse Practitioner. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, how are you?
That was a mouthful, but I think I got it all out.
You did.
I'm excited to meet you. You're fairly new to this position, so first, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I have my doctorate in nursing from Maryville University. I've been working in the medical field now for about 17 years total. I started out as a unlicensed care provider and worked my way through being an LNA nurse and worked my way up to having my doctorate.
Wow, impressive. And what were you doing before you came to the VNA?
So I was working in primary care for the last 3 years prior to coming here.
Amazing. Have you worked in the hospice industry before?
So I trained with Dartmouth's palliative medicine team during my schooling and then fell in love with it because of personal experiences with my own family, and here I am.
Sometimes that makes for the best career.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you can tie in that you went through something personally and then you make it into a career. This might be a personal question from me, but tell me the difference between hospice and palliative care.
So hospice is actually kind of in the palliative care field, but hospice is more end of life. So typically when we think somebody has less than 6 months to live and they no longer want to pursue treatment and they just want to focus on comfort and quality.
Okay.
Whereas palliative, you can still go through treatment, you can still do anything for curative, but we're focusing on making sure that your treatments match your goals of care and we're not doing things that you would find burdensome.
Interesting. Does often someone who's in palliative care become a hospice patient?
They can.
Okay.
Sometimes they choose to stay on palliative and not pursue hospice, and sometimes we roll into hospice and then we already know them and they already have support through our team.
So potentially you only know someone for a couple of days or weeks, however long it might take them through the hospice process, but someone you may know for years if you've had them through palliative care and then into hospice care.
Yep.
Interesting. I never knew that, so I learned something new today.
Perfect.
My day is done. Talk about the hospice team at the VNA. Over the years, we've talked to many, many people, and I think a lot of people in the outside world might not realize how extensive the team is here.
Sure, so I don't want to forget anybody, but guaranteed I'm probably going to.
That's okay.
So we have wonderful nurses and home caregivers and homemakers. We have our spiritual care team, our social workers, our medical director, Dr. Abruzzi, and then myself, as well as the administrative support staff.
It's really incredible too because it's an undertaking. Someone reaches out and is either themselves or a caregiver and knows it's time for that hospice period, and it's not just okay, we'll be there and check you out. There's so many other aspects that come not only for the patient but for the caregivers and family as well.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a conversation that we have to lead up to get people and families to understand that that's where we are and that we're we're moving towards hospice.
Do you meet with people often prior to what they hope to have their hospice time look like?
So I meet with families to do meetings prior to hospice at times, just to make sure that everybody's on board and knows what hospice looks like and what hospice is. Important. Because there's a huge negative connotation with the word hospice.
Interesting. And you're hoping to kind of change that a
Absolutely.
little bit too. The VNA obviously does many different parts to helping our, not only our town here, but our region, which is very important. But having it be November is Hospice and Palliative Care Month. What are some of the things that the VNA does to support that?
So right now we have the hospice lights, and we have our annual video coming out for hospice, and then there's more information on that on our website.
Right.
But otherwise, that's...
And there's a lot too. We talked about this with Cinnamon, who's the spiritual care counselor, that for somebody who is supporting someone through hospice, there's a lot of different resources that the VNA supports for after someone has passed away.
Yes, so we have 13 months of bereavement support after someone passes away.
That is impressive. And all that information can be found on the website.
It can.
Well, Rebecca, I really appreciate hearing about this, and thank you for teaching me something new. That's always important. I always hope to learn something new in an interview, but thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. When we return, we'll hear from Nancy Tripp of the Summer Music Associates about some non-summer activities. But first, let's recognize one of today's underwriters of your Yankee Chronicle. You could be one too. Contact us to learn more about helping grow our local programming and raising our community's profile. Stay with us.
We are strong and we'll get through this together, but these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome back. I'm Abby Peel, your host of Yankee Chronicle. The work of the Summer Music Associates goes beyond just the staging concerts. Let's now join Nancy Tripp to hear what they're doing to cultivate music appreciation and even careers. Hi, Nancy.
Well, the youth outreach mission for summer music came about 5 or 6 years ago. Brenda Rappaport became a board member for Summer Music Associates, and Brenda is a former music teacher, and she has dedicated much of her time and effort on the board to creating a very vibrant youth outreach program. And it was in the back of the minds of the rest of the board in summer music, but it took someone whose focus was so direct and so passionate to really get it off the ground. So our first outing was in 2019, and we brought a group up from Brooklyn, 3 guys called Project Trio. Dynamic, wild, classical jazz musicians, experts in their field, and they loved working with kids. So we brought them to the Kearsarge High School, and they worked a full day with the kids in the band who had prepared a piece of music prior to their arrival. And they worked with the kids in workshops and taught them improvisation. They did a lot of rhythm work with them. And the kids were just ecstatic working with these young, crazy guys. They were wild. And that was what we wanted to do, was show young kids that classical music is not some dead art for people over 80. It's something that's still alive, still interpretable, that classical music had improvisation in it, codas that are written and singers that do wild things at the end of pieces. It's not all just standard written music that's from Europe ages ago. It's alive and it's wonderful. So kids got pretty excited about it. And then the next day, the Project Trio group went to the middle school, and there they worked with the middle school grade kids. And then the elementary school kids from the entire district were bussed in for a concert with Project Trio, and also just to be exposed to this kind of vibrant music making. Well, the administrators were very excited about what happened. And of course, none of it could have happened or happened as smoothly without the help of Nicole Densmore, who's a wonderful elementary music teacher here in the district and has been the liaison to all the other teachers and the administrators for Brenda and for the Summer Music Associates. I consider Nicole a member of the board, even though she's not on the board because she's too busy to be, but she is our link to the schools, and she's helped immeasurably. So 2 years went by, and it wasn't until this past September that we were able to create another program. So we brought in a group called Take 3, and the leader of that is Lindsay Deutsch, who's one of the most dynamic and vibrant musicians I've ever met. She is passionate about bringing music into the schools and getting children to understand the value of music, the value of classical music, the excitement of classical music. And so the same kind of setup was created where Lindsay and her 2 cohorts, pianist and a cellist, came into the school, worked with the kids, did improvisation, did all kinds of had all kinds of musical experience with the kids, and then again the second day worked with the elementary and the middle school kids. So hundreds of kids were impacted by this, by these 2 projects each time. So of course this is something we want to continue. Doing it every year. We would like to expand the outreach. It's wonderful that we work here in the Kearsarge Regional School District, but we think there are other school districts who may have less opportunity and funding for this kind of project, although Summer Music funds it all itself. So we're looking at ways of expanding the youth outreach to more children in the area, which of course is more cost. So our appeal to our supporters is to continue to support Summer Music Associates, but perhaps an extra little gift towards the youth outreach would help us continue this amazing project. I think it's been extraordinarily successful. Our feedback has been completely positive and joyous, even between the kids and the administrators and the teachers who have been involved. When Lindsay was here, we had lots of kids wanting to take selfies with her, and the younger kids all wanted her autograph, which was just very, very sweet. So we believe it only takes one experience sometimes in your life to change your life and open your mind. And I have a little quote I found that I'd like to read. I found it on Facebook, posted by a man named Von Fleischfresser, and it says, "Music isn't extra. Music isn't additional. Music isn't discretionary. Music isn't an add-on, and music isn't disposable. Music education is core, it's fundamental, it's necessary. It's an irreplaceable component of a holistic and meaningful education. That's what music is."
Thanks, Nancy, and thank you to the Summer Music Associates for your work in developing young, appreciative ears. When we return, Susie Lowe-Stockwell and friends will join us from the Newport Opera House for a preview of their fun production of 43rd Street. But first, let's introduce you to another one of the good folks that make this show sustainable. Please stay with us.
The American Red Cross blood supply is at historically low levels this winter, and we're facing a dangerous situation. Hospitals and patients are counting on donors to get the blood they need. Make a life-saving appointment today. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. 43rd Street is just one block up from 42nd Street, but miles away from its story. Let's join the gang from Skit at the Newport Opera House to hear about this locally infamous production.
Thanks, Abby. It's a great thrill to introduce 43rd Street to the world again. We are Susie and Kathy Lowe with two of the nieces of Tom Lowe. Tom was our uncle, Don Lowe was our dad. So because of the vaudeville background of our dad and our uncle, the whole family, we were brought up with a very unusual childhood of singing and dancing. And so making a long story short, there was an organization in the village of Sutton called the South Sutton Homesteaders that began back in the mid-1960s. And they were just a civic organization that wanted to do good for friends and neighbors in the community. And they were actually looking for some kind of a fundraiser to do. And Uncle Tom, being the forever showman, said, let's do a show. So he did. And not only did he write one play, which we are now reintroducing 43rd Street, but he wrote 14 in a row. And 43rd Street was the very last one that he did in 1984.
I will come play if it should rain on you, poopy-doo.
I have been the keeper of all of the materials for years. I'm the oldest one. I think that's just my nature. It happened. I've got a couple of boxes of programs and the scripts and scores, even though...
Yippee, you're the
Yep,
oldest.
I'm the
You're
oldest.
the oldest.
So I did it. I sort of took control of all that.
Take that on.
Yeah. But the only play that we had a video of was the last one, was 43rd Street. So we thought if we could reproduce anything, it would probably be 43rd Street. So here we are at the Newport Opera House, finally ready to launch 43rd Street. So it's been a great journey for we sisters who have been in all of the plays, in particular 43rd Street, where we three sisters, Susie, Kathy, and Kim, of the four of us, all performed in this play. Kathy, why don't you take this, because it was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, wow. So we were in high school, and our boyfriends were out there watching us, and boy, watching that video now, the only video we have of Uncle Tom's plays at all, we were like these dancers and these singers, and boy, we pulled this thing off, So it's fun to be on the other end of it. So we're not really in this play. I mean, I have some small parts. I'm in these group things, and Susie's the main director, and I'm assistant music director. Judy Thackerberry is assistant director. So we're on the outside watching this happen and trying to, get the energy going in a direction that we hope it can go and get the best out of all these people as they're on stage, being us. They're going to be us. But, everyone's bringing their own thing to it, which is so cool. So how about if we hear from our co-producers from Skit and the Newport Opera House?
Thank you, ladies. I'm Meg Cowan, the Executive Director of the Newport Opera House Association, and standing next to me is our co-producer, Judy Lowe of Skit. So 43rd Street is a work between both of our organizations. Both of us are nonprofit organizations. Both of us are all about theater, community theater specifically. So when it came time for us, the Newport Opera House Association, to figure out what we were going to do for a play, for a big musical, for something, I was racking my brain and having trouble coming up with something that would work with the people we have here in Newport and with the facilities we have and the resources we have. And I was really coming up short. So I thought, I wonder if Skit has something maybe they'd like to do and partner with us. Who better than Skit? So that's how 43rd Street is coming here to the Newport Opera House. So Judy, tell us more about Skit and everything you do.
Okay, well, I've been involved with Skit for over 20 years now and done a lot of shows with Meg. But about 10 years ago, I was doing a vaudeville show with the Lowe sisters over in Danbury, And I remember when I was much younger, going to see some of their Uncle Tom shows, and I asked them if they would consider doing one for Skit. And they said no, because when their uncle died, that was the end of that, and they weren't going to do it. And then about 2 years ago, Susie Lowe came to us and said that they would like to, but they didn't know how to produce a show, so they asked us if Skit would do it, and that's how it came about. And so I'm delighted that we're doing this again. 38 years later, it's a thrill, and I've enjoyed every minute of being with Skit. They've done some wonderful shows, and hopefully they'll continue in the future. So, Meg, can you tell us how people can get tickets for the show?
Absolutely. It's real easy. Just go to our website, and you'll see the first thing that comes up is 43rd Street, and you can click on the 3 performances that we have. Friday and Saturday are at 7 p.m., and Sunday is a 2 p.m. matinee. And you pick out your seats wherever you'd like to sit. We'll have balcony seating available, as well as seating here on the main floor of the Opera House. Our bar will be open for all our performances here. So, and then I believe, Skit, you're going to have a concession table. That's what I have heard anyway. That's rumor.
I do believe so.
Yeah, rumor has it that there will be goodies here for Skit. So again, this is a fundraiser for both of us, for both of our organizations. We depend on shows like this and people to attend to keep us going.
Thank you all. This looks like a fun production. Get your tickets before they run out. When we return, Heather Turner, a certified SCORE mentor, will tell us about their work and how they can help businesses get on the right path. But first, let's do what we can to put you on the right path for you to secure the future of Yankee Chronicle. Please stay with us.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
Welcome back. I'm Abby Peel, your Yankee Chronicle host. SCORE is a program that assists small businesses to get on the right path to success. Let's hear from Heather Turner, a certified mentor.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Heather Turner. I'm the co-chair and event manager of Merrimack Valley SCORE. We cover most of New Hampshire and part of Vermont, and we are here on location at the New Hampshire Telephone Museum. And the New Hampshire Telephone Museum was actually one of our SCORE clients this past year and was looking for some technology help. I'd like to tell you a little bit about SCORE. SCORE is nationwide. We have chapters all over the United States. And in Merrimack Valley SCORE, we have over 100 small business mentors who are here to help you, whether you are starting a business, you're just thinking about starting a business, or you've been in business for many, many years. This is a free resource, and it is free mentoring. We are partially funded by the SBA. We're one of their resource partners, but we're here to help, and it's free. You can't beat free. One of the wonderful things I love about SCORE is when you're matched with a SCORE mentor, you draw upon the expertise of not just your mentor, but any other mentor within the chapter. And also you have the ability to draw upon the expertise of any other mentor all over the United States. One of my favorite stories is a recent client that I've had that I've been working with for a couple of years now, published a book. And a couple of years ago, when I first started working with him, I knew nothing about book publishing. I could help him write his business plan, I could help him with his marketing plan, I could help him review his website, help him with his social media. Didn't know anything about book publishing. And we didn't have anybody in our own chapter that knew much about book publishing. But I found several other mentors all over the United States who did know quite a bit. And I was able to draw upon the expertise of a lovely lady out in Nevada. And she sat in with us via Zoom to help, and boy, I learned a lot myself. I think one of the important things about SCORE is we offer not just free mentoring for clients, people looking to start businesses, but we are also looking for mentors. Whether you're in business or you're retired, doesn't matter, we need your help. We're looking for people that really want to help others. And I can say from a personal perspective, this is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. If you're a small business, one of the things to consider about SCORE is we're here to help you, whether you need a meeting once, you need a meeting 10 times, or whether you need us for years to come. Many of the clients that I meet with, for example, we start out meeting once a week or once every couple of weeks, and then we go down to a couple of months at a time. And then some clients call me every 6 months. We exchange emails whenever they need anything. And again, it's a great resource for small businesses to take advantage of. But it's not just for starting businesses. While we can help people write business plans, some of us go to the banks with people that are looking for business loans. And banks really like to see that actually when a SCORE mentor helps with that and attends a meeting at the bank with a small business. But we have people coming to us that have been in business for 10 years. It's not just business loans or business plans. They might need help with marketing or HR or some other issue that's in the ballpark of someone that's been in business for many, many years. Please take advantage of it. If I hadn't said this before, it is a free resource. If you'd like to reach us, you can go to score.org and you can search for a mentor by location, or you can search by expertise. When you go to fill out the form to ask for a mentor, please help us help you by telling us a little bit about who you are and what kind of help and assistance you are looking for, because that better helps us match you with someone that can appropriately help you. The one thing that I would add is if you are matched with a SCORE mentor and you don't necessarily click right off the bat, please don't be afraid to ask for additional assistance or ask for another mentor. There's a big trust relationship in working with SCORE mentors, and we want to make sure it's a right match for you.
Thank you, Heather. If you have any questions, she has the answers. Next week, we'll be right back here at the Renaissance Shoppe to hear of its mission from its co-founder, Joanne Hughes. And we'll learn about becoming a caregiver with the Lake Sunapee Region, VNA, and Hospice. Tune into our Game of the Week on TDS TV 13 and 1013, NCTV 8, Apple TV, Roku, and at ycnnow.com this weekend for a tournament football game. All of our games are replayed on Sundays and Mondays at noon and 7 p.m. and anytime on demand at ycnnow.com. Check out the program schedule at ycnnow.com for the most up-to-date information on games, Yankee Chronicle, and specials. I'm Abby Peel. Tune in again at the same time next week for your Who, What, Where, and When show, Yankee Chronicle. Stay safe, everyone.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.